Hey, listen, man. Let me explain something to you, bro. You know, I was sleeping and I had a dream about something very wonderful. And I'm a man that, how can I say? I'm a man. This is really me, man. The real me, the real me. But I'm gonna tell you something. I was watching something. Individuals was doing something a certain type of way with the pyramids, trying to grind granite in all type of situations. I'm already looking at situations a certain type of way. I'm just not saying that. But let me say something real quick. You know, I made. Let me say something real quick. I was making. I was watching. I said I was watching. Something on the History Channel while they were grinding granite. They was doing on the pyramids, but the only reason why I watched it is because they were in the pyramids excavating and doing things that they weren't supposed to do. In the paradigm of time, the pyramid is only meant for certain individual people. It's just like consecration. It doesn't take new generations that were reconditioned. Listen, if you were a generation of children, certain other people, not me because I'm the original minister, but if you, other people were the generation of other generation of children that was reconditioned through the paradigm of time, and there's nothing new under the sun. Why would you fuck up your protection magic and what caused it? Listen, if a people ended up going to the pyramids excavating, right? What caused them to go to the pyramid to excavate their natural protection that they had in consecration from ancient times? What led certain people? Because if you were looking for a criminal that killed you, that reconditioned you in the paradigm of time, that led you to your place of your habitation, of your social economics, of your original consecration at a certain point of acknowledgement of real ancient mysticism, my- metaphysics, mythology of your one's habitation, of one's social economic human condition, and humanity of one's atmosphere. What would lead you to now? I told you I'm the real Orion, the Royal Orion. So what would lead you to the pyramids to go excavate at place of consecration of the of your original protection of a point of the original knowledge of your existence? What would have caused you to do some old zombified, stupid reality to go to a place where it's not supposed to ever be tampered with or touched by other individuals that be reconditioned through the paradigm of time? Because that magic was made to protect them through all of time in their life and even the generations of even the future. So if I was doing a martial arts bout and I was fighting somebody and say somebody did try to do some type of form of Reiki, or they try to do some type of form of Wudang technique or whatever technique they try to do, right? And then a person injured at a time because if a person's using a certain form, Reiki is really used for something else. Reiki is a wonderful martial art, but for somebody tries to use it the wrong way, I don't even gotta tell you, but Wudang and all those type of martial arts are used for deterioration. But say somebody tries to use a form of martial arts that will cause the disregard, a form of martial arts that will cause the disregard of an individual at a time, right? Now, a person says, what is the person speaking about? Say, for instance, say somebody was doing, part of me, I just took a shit also, and the shit came out literally forced the green. And I just literally just took a shit and it came out literally forced the green just now. That shit was literal forced to green, like no other color but a forced to green. Like, and on top of it, I didn't even eat vegetables. So I was just telling you, Anyway, listen to this, right? Imagine a person in a paradigm of time that wants to break through somebody's magic. What would cause individuals to go to the pyramids to excavate they fuck up the original consecration. Consecration means holy. It means like the holy protection. It's like a mysticism, a metaphysics. Metaphysics means beyond the physical, dealing with the higher consciousness of the higher reality of existence when it comes to universal laws, force, energy, aura, um, enlightenment, the higher self, and then the mythology, also meaning the 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 materializing of the higher acknowledgement of the of one's obligatory higher existence of regard of one's higher consciousness of one's physical reality. Now, dealing with anatomy and matter. Now, if a person takes you to a place of purity, purity is like a high consecration, or concentrated realm of pure form of pure energy a certain type of way, right? Now, a certain type of way, and it's different. The real pure form is different from what another person. Anyway, I don't want to speak about it, but anyway. But say, for instance, a person takes an individual to a point and to excavate their protection that was set from the beginning of time, for individuals and generations that was going to be learning their reason of their history, of their dignity, of who they really are, to go excavate and tamper with their own protection that causes deterioration of their physical reality and the murdering of their higher consciousness and the falling of them never being stars. Because some children said, why couldn't you be a star in a paradigm of time? What caused your actions, or what? And now remember, I'm the one that, during the Galactical War, that found out why they tried to murder my real kids. And then there was a Galactical War after that. So I went out looking for my children after the war. It was like being a detective, making sure precisely my calculations were precise. Now, if a person goes and tries to take you to the pyramid to break through your consecration of the reason of your holiness, of your purity of existence, and then tries to make you tamper with your own magic, it's just like a person making you play with yourself or kidnapping you and causing you. It's like a person really literally raping you and causing you to manipulate the physical so they can have a moment of sexual pleasure, and they're not really giving you. In the beginning, you already know they're not giving you, and it's not feeling comfortable when it comes to the sexual pleasure. It's like, wait a minute. That never happened. That never happened to, anyway. But a person, wait a minute, stop, wait a minute, this is, and then the person continues just a little bit, and they try to, it's like a long time of breaking down one's reality of mentality, of one's militance, of one's consciousness, to be able to penetrate one's physical, that will cause the destruction on a low level that would demoralize an individual's mentality, that would bring them down in the physical reality. Now, this is why I told girls that were my soulmates that they weren't supposed to have sex with other niggas, even if, or nothing new under the sun, but once you fit a certain height requirement, you were only meant to be with me. And I explain this on all the Sanders trips. Even my sons, when they're looking to be with a girl, they're looking for a girl that's literally like 5'8". If they're real short, if my sons are real short, they're looking for a girl that's like 5'6", 5'8", 5'9", because they need the girl to be a little taller than them. It's something to do with the reason of their existence. 5'10", 5'11", 5'12", well, not 5'10", but 5'8", 5'11", 5'12". Those are the heights, especially if a man is short, that he has to be with a girl. He can't be with a girl that's 5'7", five, 5'5", 5'4", 5'3", 5'2", 5'1", 5 feet or lower. Nobody. The elves had to even deal with elf girls that was a little taller than them. That hits certain sequences of requirement of like certain sequences of requirement because of their being naturally and the things that they do because the elves are celestial. So the things that the elves do, they had to literally they needed a girl a certain height requirement to maintain their existence a certain type of way with certain things that they do a certain type of way for the humanity and the reason of other individuals' social existence for certain things and leveling out energy in a form of reality. But let me just tell you how real this is, right? Now, now my sons can't be with my even my sons they can't be with a girl that's a short level because that's that if their mother manifests, their mother has to be precise. If something happens and I happen to be recovering and their mother was manifested, the higher mother, the astrological empress, or celestial empress, or and celestial empress manifests in the physical realm, she has to be able to doctor their situation precisely. Now, she she's educated and she's complete because remember she would be the earth, she'll have the earth in her. So for her not to be have any confusion in her humane existence down to the cellular structure on a level they can't deal with a being or a feminine or feminine being that is the same height requirement as her because she doesn't want to cause confused emotions and then cause the deterioration of them even faster. And if she's trying to save their life, if she's doctoring the humane condition to the social structure, because she knows herself best, so she has to go out and doctor the situation. She can't have an interference on a level of perception dealing with her reality when she's trying to save the reason of your habitation, of your social, humane condition of the atmosphere in your life at the time. So if a man deals with my wife that's of a certain level, that's like the instant deterioration of the disease itself that was caused the infection or whatever happened. It's say like I said, a martial arts battle or something that ever happened, that means it was more than what it was. You see, I have a son named Press. I have another one named Push. I have another one named I'm not gonna tell you all my son's names, but those individuals, they were highly skilled even when it came to life. Those are individuals, even if a man looked at the four corners of the world and looked up and down, they could have been okay in life because they were very enlightenment and of real value. So, a man says, who am I? I'm the pawn. But I'm the one that educated them even when it came to their martial arts. But I'm just gonna tell them this, be careful of other individuals because say a person is using form of, like I said, a whodunit technique, or if I was fighting somebody, and then next thing you know, they try to uh, hit an individual to break through their protection. It's just like when me and Trips was fighting on Flatbush, and then I didn't want to get locked up because I didn't want what you call it police to come because police was already harassing me because they wanted to make it like how they attacked Christ. So you had a social economic system that was stressed out because they wanted to do the fulfillment of what they did to Christ in ancient times, and they wanted to fulfill some type of ritual that they were doing. And then next thing you know, because I'm the real Most High, they weren't supposed to do it to me, but because the energy was identifying certain things in a certain way, they didn't hear. They were excuseful if they wasn't hearing the information a certain type of way that they wanted to hear when I was telling them the information. And listen, if I was dealing cryptically and I was giving individuals information in a cryptic way, cryptic means um, a sequence of verbal expressions of one's high reality. It's like rap music. It's like hip hop music. It's like for poetry, forms of forms of verbal expression of the high of one's reality to 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 orientate one's consciousness to see the different forms of reality of the of one's realms, visual habitation, or even uh, di, 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 regard the division or dilating one's uh, dimension of, of, of one's militance of one's consciousness. So, to re-strengthen, to refine of one's habitation. So a person would want to, I would have to express to give you the high reality a certain type of way, and it have to come from me for one's consciousness to be uplifted. But the way I I massage the situation for individuals to soothe their consciousness was in a form of cryptic verbal expression. So it was in a sequence of one. It's like watching the Da Vinci Code, or what I told you, the Omega Code, or listening to certain forms of music. It's just like pre- prepara- prepar- preparing one for the higher reality and in one's regard, even when one is dealing in the physical. So when I was giving them the information that they needed to know precisely, they weren't smart enough to even acknowledge it at a certain type of way at the time. So I had to do it. Some the people that was already knew what was going on, but the people that wasn't were they they were baffled of certain things because they probably been already manhandled a certain type of way in the paradigm of time. So if I'm repairing anatomy to the higher condition of the higher reality of the higher stars, it's just like, say if I did some, like, Christ is my child. So, but if I did some magic and to repair individuals at a time, a person said, I'm Emperor Chi, and the real Emperor Chi, Magi Chi, or also known as Emperor Chan also, and also, I am John the Baptist. I am John the Baptist, I am Emperor Chi, I am Emperor Chan, literally. Or Magi Chi, Magi Chan. And John the Baptist, Magi Chi, Magi Chan, and literally. But anyway, say for instance, individual, I told you I'm an Asian Caucasian man, but another person when they realize who I really am in the paradigm a certain type of way. But say for instance, an individual at a time tried to do funny things, and I used to own even Madhouse Records and all type of stuff, like I own all continents, but I'm just telling you how real situations are. But if I was doing it in a form of cryptic sequences, explaining and verbally expressing the humane condition for one's reality, one would have to really realize what I'm saying. It's just like showing you the realms of reality. It's like showing you how to work a crystal ball, or how to see one's visual. I'm the real rock. See one's visual enlightenment at a way for individuals' reality. Even when I was Joseph, telling one's intent of one's consciousness, unfolding one's consciousness so one could develop the higher receptiveness of one's reality. People used to come to me, I had this, I seen this, I seen this. And I would just tell individuals what it was about because, me naturally knowing certain things that other people couldn't tell certain people because they don't know what was going on with certain things. And I'm the one that naturally knows because the atmosphere is because the human condition of the atmosphere is only because of me. So now, literally, I'm just being real. So say for instance, if a person was excavating and they were reconditioned in the paradigm, say somebody was excavating and they were reconditioned in the paradigm of time when it came to one's higher consciousness of one's higher reality. Now, a person says, what caused an individual at a time to even, you know, I'll just be real with you, because a person wanted to say, what caused the individual's reality even at a time just to even be a certain type of way when it comes to one's reality and one's acknowledgement? Because another person wouldn't realize certain things when it came to the physical, when it came to one's physical. So when a person says, what would cause a situation a certain type of way at a time that would acknowledge a higher point of existence of one's physical reality? Now, a person says, hey, listen, man, why would you go to your consecration of the original holy teaching of one's higher consciousness and devalue yourself? What sense is that make? You know, it's just like if a person made a bad soul deal and your soul doesn't belong to you, it belongs to me. So if you were making a soul deal with somebody else, what led you to the pyramid, to your original consecration, to a point of reality that even regarded my empress? And empresses, because my empresses were points of existence where I had the energy, where they educated my other empress a certain type of way. So what caused the individual to deteriorate their own protection at the time? So, you know, if the consecration was regarding you throughout generations in time, what caused you to defile your reason? Because if you're gonna really go off, you're gonna go off anyway, even if you were reconditioned through the paradigm of time. What did you know in the paradigm of time that caused you to be harmed physically, to be reconditioned by one of my children or my kids in the paradigm of time, that didn't want me to notice you, like they took you from me? And as I'm looking for you in the paradigm and recovering because of because remember, I got shot in Boogie Nights, so there's gonna be people, cellular structure that's gonna have to be refining a certain type of way, because I'm not everywhere I'm supposed to be, because another person tried to get certain things out of whack, and they tried to get things out of order in the humane condition. In reality, they didn't want the original order of one's orientation, of one's natural habitation of existence. So they tried to break order. They tried to break the natural honor of the reasons of existence. So by doing that, they were killing themselves. That was causing their own deterioration. Because it's like distinguishing and demoralizing one's reality of one's habitation and one's consciousness. So that causes one's death to be even traumatic, even at another time, and one's energy of one's habitation and education to be wasted. Because the education is always going to remain, because the forces of existence already know. So it will cause an individual in a paradigm of time to even be a point of existence to even to heal or refine, and to even remend the reality for individuals who wouldn't die because of their stupidity, or what they're doing in the paradigm, or what they're doing in the habitation of their own sacredcy of their protection at the time. So from only a person that really loves that will be able to repair the situation a certain type of way. So it would take the individuals of real existence to come forth and to do what you think is happening at the time. So now, at a time, I tell an individual, what caused you? If a person harmed you in reality and did wrong to you in the physical, now, depending if you were wronged a certain type of way, what caused your situation in the physical reality to go to a place of consecration of your original protection at certain points of even history, from a long sequence of time events, to go to the pyramids to excavate and cause your deterioration? What would make you do something like that? Because even energies and possession forces don't tamper with certain things, because the reality could already be dealt with on another level, precisely to the physical condition, because you're already reconditioned. But what caused your reconditioning at the time to even end up at the pyramid to really demoralize you for a certain at a point of time for all existence. Now, I could undo your reality a certain type of way, but I could do it precisely another type of way without having to tamper with certain things that I made in existence in the physical reality because I don't waste my energy. So what is the reason of certain things in life? So whoever funded you a certain type of way that manipulated you to consciousness to go against the reason of your existence, me, Ra, the reason of enlightenment, the real Cyrus, Rahu and GR, and to cause you to literally forget the reason, try to demoralize for you to forget the reason of your life. Me, Rahu and GR, your real obligation. So what caused you to do something like that that led you to that point of reality that was coinciding with you, that was intimidating your physical to demoralize yourself even in the reflection of light and anatomy? Now, what caused that type of situation? Because one endangered one's reality, because one has to be precise with the with one's handle of the way certain things are. It was so real. I never even wanted people to ever clean the pyramid. Like when people used to want to come clean the pyramid, they weren't educated enough to clean the pyramid. Now, even when my children built the pyramid, you ever made a child build a project or you gave a child a gift? You know what I used to do? I used to buy like little boats, little cars, little doll houses, little things, and make my child build like put a little boat and adventurous together. And then I was watching because I'm literally I know the reason of the higher education, so I'm helping him. If something happens to him at the time I'm in the education, something that was happening to him, I'll be able to handle his situation a certain type of way. So when he did certain things, I used to take him and look at this. Your son, this is perfect. We're never gonna fuck this up. I encourage him. You're never gonna fuck this up. And we put it somewhere and encase it so this way it would never be tampered with, because the continuance of my wife's love for everything that he did in the paradigm of time, the way he admired me, and the way I acknowledged because of the wonderful reality of his education and my love being the love, continuance of my love, and also for his refinement if something ever happened to him. So I used to put certain things away and never let certain things be touched. So sometimes I used to seal things off that a certain person wouldn't even realize that I did a form of magic a certain type of way for my children. But I was an individual that was like a real a person would say I was like a real ninja, the way I moved in the real reality, even dealing with humanity, repairing and refining the habitation of the human condition. That's what I did all my life. So I didn't really do stupidity with other people unless I had to regard my own physical existence for myself either way in reality. So that's the only time I ever did anything, a certain type of way. And even when I always regarded myself as always regard. So I'm the person that's precise in things I do. So even when trips attacked me on Flatbush and tried to deteriorate my physical and caused Puerto Rico to be flooded. It caused the hurricane in Florida. It even early out caused the flooding in Japan and certain things because the martial art bout that I did, and then me, the way I regarded myself, because I didn't want to get locked up by police because police was already just trying to put me in jail because of my architectural ideas and other things that I came up with and my other ideas. They were intimidated by the situation, so they were thinking about future finances, and they wanted to demoralize the individual of the habitation I would have in the physical. So they were trying to get at me a certain way. So when I realized that, I was looking at these individuals who were causing Sin City. So once they were causing Sin City, that's not my reality. That's somebody else's. That's stupidity. That's another type of reality. It's gonna cause the end of existence. So I disregarded that situation and got away from that situation real fast because I don't need to be around stupidity people. So the same way, it's just like because I'm the real reason of the atmosphere. And I'm way better than the golden fleece. I'm the real reason of the atmosphere. Literally, of your habitation. If something happens to me, there will be no even, not even snakes will be fucked. Everybody will be fucked up. So even stars, like even plant, you wouldn't even believe it. The elements will deteriorate. The 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 elements will start deteriorating. The natural habitation of your lands, it will start deteriorating. Um, it would be an unbalanced habitation in certain places, and the only way certain things will get back in balance unless I travel and go certain places to repair the situations in the physical reality. But the thing about this was I was already supposed to be doing that in a paradigm because people have been trying to do things like that in all existence. So I've been counteracting situations in other ways sometimes, and even other planets for individuals' habitation. People try to pinpoint. It's like locking me up, putting me in jail for no reason, and causing your own deterioration. There's something I'm never supposed to even go to jail. So that's a person has to really know what's really going on in the physical reality for one to even be regarded. So even though I told you, even when I owned for correctional facilities, I did certain things a certain type of way. I only, at the time of a civil war is only the time when I started putting people a certain place, and then to refine, to, to handle the situation of the physical, dealing on a celestial earth and dealing with solar activity to make sure people were fine and regarded, so I would know what was going on according to their habitation. But when a person started wanting to realize that because of civil war and I had certain things a certain type of way, when I got shot in bullying, I trusted certain individuals. I guess that's must have what they must have wanted. They wanted me to have certain people in a certain position, and then they try to disregard. It's just like trying to take over a maximum jail facility. It's not. It's like somebody trying to take over a place of high regard of the reasons of people's social habitation. So a person tried to disregard me to get I'm like the water. I'm Aries, but I'm the real water. It's not. It's not. It's not jail when it comes to me. It's a heavenly condition of high existence. But if in another person's hands, it would be considered jail. So a person probably wanted me to have certain people in a certain type of sequence and events, and then next thing they probably try to get, the keys for me of reality. And remember, I told you watch the Disney cartoon. I'm the real Zeus. I'm the one with the keys, keys, keys. You ever heard Jay-Z? Keys, 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 keys. I'm the key. I'm the key. If you watch The Matrix, I'm the key master. I'm the key, the individual, the natural, the one that makes the keys. But I'm the different one. I'm the key master and also the Jet Li Neo of the movie, But not the Neo that got with the wrong individual. I'm the Neo that was of the original regard of the higher consciousness of one's order and orientation, of the reason of one's habitation, of the originality. A person trying to make me seem devious, but individuals had to keep the order of the reason of structure, of instruction for obstruction, for one's natural humane habitation of existence, for one be to rise of one's higher being and to know the reasons of responsibility. But when you have other individuals that only know certain things at a level, it takes a man to literally observe at periodical times to see how I'm tweaking the situation to repair one's reality to get you back to the higher existence. So other people didn't like that because they like being taskmasters. Some of my children had loved being taskmasters, but I had to correct them because they were hurting themselves because they didn't know nothing about the reason of habitation of one's physical reality, even dealing with high forms of reflection of light of even one's anatomy. So because of their stupidity, what did I do? I just, okay, humbled myself. So when it did certain ways, and then if individuals got out of hand, I would provide the real evidence why they had to be they had to pay homage and tribute to me of the physical when it came to me in the physical reality. And some people didn't like that because the fact is, the way they were already handling and then it was like it was like Jewish people. Remember, it's an allegory with the story of the German and Jews. They had their own little underground stashes that they were scared of a certain type of way, and they didn't want the wrong people finding out about it because of them being a taskmaster. I'm the real parent of existence. So it would be more detrimental if people found out what was going wrong with them and what would be happening to their physical a certain type of way. So another person was already scared. Another person is already trying to work a form of anatomy when it comes to my wife. That's nothing to do with me. That's like a mosquito bite, and you're like the pimple that needs to be pushed out another type of way when a person tries to do little funny things, fucking with my anatomy and other little places and shit. So I know I'm gonna be seeing you real soon because you didn't realize what you just did. So, but anyway, so as I was saying, if a person in life, even at a time, because I do martial arts in all types of situations, so I usually put individuals away anyway. So I'm just gonna be real. So if a person is doing a form of martial art, a person is feeling scared right now because of what I just said. Good for you. You should have never did what you just did. You should have never looked for a certain type of reaction. You're already wrong. The energy and force of life already know you're wrong. And if you concentrate, it was even better for me because the fact is, the energy, see, if you did that in pure form, I'm going to get you instantly. If you concentrated, I'm going to find out why you concentrated a certain type of way at the time, and I'm going to handle every situation that caused that concentration, and then I'm going to put all y'all away a certain type of way. But wait a minute. This is for other individuals. Those are your real demons, your real demon, democratic individuals. That want to do funny things a certain type of way that should have been handled a certain type of way before they cause Sin City or the end of the world. So I'm going to stop that situation before that happens. Because I'm a man of will and light. So I don't give a fuck what a person tells me. I'm just telling you how real the situation is. But I'm going to just say like this. Now, if in reality, if I was doing a martial arts bout, and then say somebody used a form of martial arts that caused the penetration of one's physical to be able to get to one's point of sacredcy, because a person would have to be guided to one's point of sacredcy to fuck it up in a paradigm. So if a person's of a higher consciousness and they were looking to get over on an individual, they'd be looking for your guidance in a certain type of way. It's like blindfolding you and watching where you go and stuff. It's just like what they did. It's like when they blindfolded me in I'm the Roganicus from, from Spartacus, the cable series. So when they tried to blindfold me, I was the best that ever did it because I whooped that nigga's ass blindfolded, and it was a fight to the death. So the individual was scared, and I was barely touched. So another person was wondering, how did they do something like that? How did I handle the situation before other individuals had realized what was going on and stuff? Easy, no. I just handled it because I was meant to handle it. I'm the one that made existence. So yeah, anyway, a person will look at a certain point a certain type of way, but if they could see the reason of the upside down stance of even the pitchfork, even when it comes to foundation of one's reality. But I'm gonna just say just like this. I was already handling individuals a certain type of way. So if a person was doing martial arts, or if a feminine being was raped, or if you were raped by a corrections officer, or raped by an individual that could act like he wanted to be an officer, that did some old charm, being a demon, changing into a jail and turning into a cop, because he was trying to hide what he did to individuals in the physical reality, and the wrong that he did to men in a paradigm, and manipulated their physical to be able to have the hold on their physical, so he would be able to be looked upon as high regard, because he demoralized his social economic habitation, and he was keeping information from individuals a certain type of way, because the fact is, he was already trying to dishonor individuals and started doing the wrong thing when it came to habitation, and probably tried to get into dominatrix, type of situation when it comes to physical, how can I say this, sacredcy or misbehavior of sacred conduct, or passive aggressive habitation of the physical reality, or sexual bad sexual no uh, uh, uncom- how can I uncomfortable forms of sexual conduct. You know, a person that did something wrong to somebody will be covering up because the way they demoralized and and, and manipulated one's physical, their mentality of their existence, to be able just to receive a form of pleasure even for one's anatomy, of one's existence, probably because of their oath, of their reality even at the time, and them manipulating people for they wouldn't know what they were trying to get away with, because of their greed or gluttony, or their envy of individuals in the reality, just for their magical their their magical existence of abusing the habitation a certain type of way when it came to regard. So a person is like, it's just like my son Genghis Khan when he tried to invade China, and then I was wondering why would he want to invade China a certain type of way. It was because other individuals was already trying to influence him to go against his own sacredcy, so they could be able to penetrate his magic and get rid of him without nobody realizing at the time that would be responsible. So this way they could have learned his habitation of his attribute to be able to stop him in a physical, so they would have the points of pleasure that he was having naturally in his life, because the envious of the reality is probably people that was already demoralizing even of the physical condition to the habitation that wasn't appealing, of their physics. So a person probably tried to demoralize my son, and then me realizing this, going about it a certain type of way, they were already fearful of me because I was making the reasons of one's honor naturally of the physical reality, because I'm the real love, and my wife was extremely extravagant in alluring in the physical reality, and also me. And then on top of it, another person was wondering why I humbled myself so much, and my wives admired me. So it caused them to misstep the situation to want to get with my wives, and by doing something like that, my wives already knew how real I was, because I was already a certain type of way for a long time, and I'm already used to certain things. So another person wasn't used to it, and they were already trying to demoralize to get my wife a certain type of way. And then you had individuals that was already trying to spoil the real intensity of their anatomy, of the physical, to be able to manipulate their own consciousness to go against themselves and cause confusion within their habitation of their purity, of their consecration, of their holy protection, to demoralize it to end up killing themselves. So for a moment of pleasure, so they could be infiltrated and never be able to ever be high regarded in their physical reality ever again in existence, because that would be demoralizing one's physical. So that would be trying to, it's like a person that's trying to mirror affect me, trying to act like me, so they would want, for my wife could be able to demoralize herself and not mind her slow death of her reality. Now, that's a person that never made my wife, and my wife would see the difference because, when she would be around me, she would already feel the difference. So she would already know that another person did wrong, and it would be shameful to the social economic view and individuals of the real higher consciousness, because it shows you that she wasn't the real empress. It was probably somebody acting like the empress in the paradigm of time that had a form of magic, and then manipulated individuals in the physical, and then on top of it tried to claim to be something, and why they probably really tried to murder empress, because they were probably trying to learn forms of higher metaphysics or mythology to trap the emperor, because they were trying to be ghostbusters, and that was going to lead up in the physics for them trapping in the physical reality of the empress, and lead up trying to get to my keys. My heavenly keys, of the real regard of the reason of social habitation, because another person will probably be trying to disown me from me owning everything. So that would be a person destroying that humane condition. It's just like If a person would fuck up immaculate conception, a man that makes up immaculate conception, that refines and rejuvenates most even cellular structure, what type of person would that be? Or how would you consider that person is a level of physics and science, even in health? That would be a person that would be a sinner, right? That would do something like that. So if they did it to me, right? So obviously, another person knows that, so they didn't want a person realizing what they were trying to do. So you have to know the reason of the manipulation, even when it came to the cellular structure on a celestial earth. So now, what would cause a person to go to consecration and undo the reason of their habitation to even their social economics and their family? That would be a person that probably tried to cut some type of deal with Illuminati or some demented individuals that tried to get dominating world power. Just like, remember the television show Angel, with the guy that played Booth in Bones, the television show. Is that when he was working in the Federal Bureau, and then he had their own, they were trying to build their Sears Tower. You remember, like Zeus? You remember the Sears? Everybody lined up to go see the Sears because they wanted they were trying to see the reality of to guide Christ. They wanted the Christ walk. They wanted me to live the Nimrod experience and all my star children and die because they weren't stars anymore. And some of them were on a level and they didn't understand the reason of their habitation because they were like some disformed deterioration of some Noah's Ark that actually got to be around individuals of high habitation and learn certain forms of sacredcy because their responsibility of little children trying to show off, to trying to do their own thing, to have control over other individuals and the generations of existence that they felt they were older than, and on top of it, taking advantage of individuals of purity that was literally honored because saving individuals' life that was reconditioned by me. So it wasn't even reconditioned. Well, they were precisely conditioned to rise again. But another person wanted to demoralize them because, it's like a galactical war. If all my children are perfect and they're stars, they honored me when I warred also with them. So that means some of them fell and then they were getting put back up naturally. And then on top of it, the people that caused it, the ones that was, it was like, it's like you ever filtered out a situation, the natural filter, the other little things that was hiding at the time that you're going to retrieve certain things. It's like being a bounty hunter, going to get the other little certain individuals that cause certain irritation or ignorance or negligence in the physical reality and going and go handle them. And then the children that was already did cause like that was already is how say they were in recovery or they were in a form of police of law enforcement protection or protective services for their identity because of things that they did, so they will be able to recover and not have a form of discomfort around social economics that people that did wrong and the reason that they stood up to correct to keep the habitation of the real enlightenment in order. And then you had the children that already seen them coming up, that recognized them that before ahead of time, and then tried to demoralize them again because they didn't want them to come back in existence because they already was trying to get to a higher point of advantage. And if their children would have grew up, they would have never been at the higher point of advantage. It's just like with the story of Moses, when they wanted all the firstborn dead, when the Pharaoh asked for the firstborns to be dead, and then my wife came to me and was like, yo, your son over there is wild, and he just said it was some crazy. You sure right? I'm like, am I sure? Or did you do something? Did you beat him up? Then she started speaking to, my wife started speaking to me. Did I do something? Did I do something? Oh, you never gonna change. Then if she starts saying certain things, I get a little frustrated and irritated because like, I'm like, oh, she's making real funny comments. I gotta make sure people are educated because she's the type of person that'll fuck up the whole reality and then try to speak to me on some cryptic way, and then and she don't even realize that she's just trying to go against me. And then on top of it, I gotta make sure my children's alright because something's wrong with her. She probably did some martial arts or with somebody protecting their habitation at the time. And it was hit with a certain type of technique. I gotta find out what it was. And then before she starts herself becomes a fucking demoralizing reality. And then on top of it, she's not realizing I already know why she's like that because of the Zodiac. and the science of the individual being zodiac science, a certain type of way that was already demoralizing her habitation because they didn't know how to cleanse themselves to the physical because they were trying to break order when it came to the higher reality and other individuals. So me knowing all these things, I had to literally turn into like a little child and then go to the pharaoh and and the pharaoh be looking at me and I'd be like, I didn't do no cross. Pharaoh look at me and I'm like, oh my God, this child, what you want? She's like, you wanted a son, I wanted your love, I asked for your love, and then then this child, she didn't even realize this child came in the world or something. So I'm like, honey, and then the started speaking to the pharaoh when nobody was around. Hey man. You know why? I was like, come and knock on your door. Now I'm here. You gotta clean me right now because I'm waiting for you. I used to make him laugh. So he said, well, oh my God, look at this. This is a funny one. What is this? And then when everybody's around him and he couldn't do nothing. So he was like, it was like he liked that because it was like the way he was so demented at the time and the things that he wanted to do. So me appealing his consciousness, my son, he should keep me around. And then he would be like, yo, who are you? Damn that. Because I had to repair the reason why he was doing certain things to make him love the generation that he was trying to kill before they were born. So he wouldn't end up in that situation because he was important himself to something that was going to happen in future occurrence, and I was being precise with the way I was guiding people's reality because I never wanted to lose my children at the time because a lot of my children are pure love. So I had to literally do certain things a certain type of way for their habitation of their existence. So I went through certain things that a person wouldn't have really ever been able to go through, and I completed that through our own existence. And then on top of it, completed other things throughout our own existence that nobody will be ever able to do because nobody will be able to go through those type of conditions. And I know for a fact because I'm the one that made existence. So if you have an individual at a time that it's just like trying to murder the empress. It's like asking her to take the place of her real husband, and then she looks at an individual like, you're gonna murder because I helped you, and then don't let that person be on a level, and then you're realizing that there's a problem on a higher level, and a person can, it's like deteriorating one consciousness. It's like a higher empress has her own problem in her own household, and then you happen to see it in what complicated her situation in the physical, and now she has to humble herself because now this piece of shit could cause the end of all existence even on a higher level. So a person has to be smart with the way they go about their physical. So if she punishes herself and opens up the penetration to an individual like that, that's like, and I'm speaking about another individual somewhere that's like the end of, the death of her reality already. It's just like what Siobhan Sons did. Siobhan Sons did the opposite. She came back in time because she was Pebble. She came back in time because she already made a vow to murder me. You remember she in the Hercules cartoon, she was fancy. She came to her house and she said, I sold myself to Hades. She just made a slight comment like, I'm gonna kill everybody. I don't give a fuck about nobody. Like, this nigga don't wanna love me. This nigga doesn't wanna be with me. He's only gonna be with me at time being, and then he's gonna go be happy with everybody else, and he's gonna be in the future living, and I'm gonna be a fucked up chick that just did everything fucked up at a time because I was fucking with this next nigga. Nah, she already was mad at that for life. So me trying to handle the situation to make sure that she didn't discourage and fuck up anybody else's life, she was already just wanted to kill everybody, It was just like Madamore's sister. It was like what Madamore's sister did. She tried to get into Madamore's family because she wasn't part of the family. She was from somewhere else. But because she tried to resemble Madamore's and nobody knew the difference, they tried to cause the end of her reality. I said, what you said Madamore's because she was trying to look like late. They were trying to say Madamore's was late. Madamore's wasn't late. Madamore's I had other empresses that resembled certain things, but it wasn't late. Madamore's was my life. Madamore's loved me. Another person is like the King Arthur story. He's like a person not realizing what was going on. So I'm already moving, and I already had purity. So I had so much purity, you would never be able to tell the difference. So she she was in a situation, and then on top of it, it was an energy that was already fucking with people's reality that needed to be put away a certain type of way, and other people did an oath a certain type of way behind my back at a time that was trying to break the consecration of their mother, and then other people doing the forms of magic and martial arts that was fucking individuals up, and I was just looking at individuals at the time. Oh, so you were one of those dudes that did that, or how did it happen to you? And then because my wife was trying to do everything to get my attention because I didn't want to be with her. So she was doing anything to fuck up anybody for me to realize that, she just wanted to be a part of my, but she already did wrong a certain type of way. You're not going to dishonor another person that's perfect. And my wife that was perfect wasn't never going to live that. That's like dishonoring the reasons of one's intimate secrecy uh, 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 of one's habitation. Nobody's gonna spoil their consciousness a certain type of way. So I disregarded the situation. She didn't realize by her being more persistent was making the situation worse on her physical reality and her reality. Because then she would never be able to be repaired. So that's how real her situation was. Because that's how devious and detrimental her situation was in the paradigm. So I had to make sure that I disregarded the situation. Like, I don't I don't get into certain things with certain people. So me being smart, so what I did, hey, go see you, go ahead. I don't get down like that. You do what you do. Happy for you. I'm already natural in my situation. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. Bye bye for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the real rock. I'm the reason of the intensity of reality. So bye bye for another person. So this was, it had, I know what's going on. So individuals being led to the pyramid, breaking through the consecration of their holy protection from existence was already too much. So when I seen certain things like that, I knew I'll have to stop that person. So sometimes it would take another form of martial arts because another person's looking for a competition. Or it would take another person wanted to be acknowledged because they wanted to repair their higher consciousness. And them knowing that somebody wasn't physically fit to handle the situation, they were trying to take advantage of me because other people was already had to. You remember, and when I was in the pyramid, there was people learning forms of disregarding it, a form of mushu magic. It was like a form of death, of a dark reality. And remember, mushu magic also dealt with this the zodiac. So that was like a demented, a more demented, demoralizing. You could get lost in that type of magic. It's like going to Las Vegas and playing video games. You lose money in physics playing games. You could end up losing your life if you lost a certain type of way at a time. Another person's not gonna tell a person that. So a person says, "Yo, if you're gonna do something, play video games in your house. Don't play or play video games outside your house. Don't really play it in a public place because when you lose in your life, that's because of your stupidity and stuff. It has nothing to do with me. I'm never gonna lose my life. I'm life himself. So another person trying to do something is just showing individuals what. I don't gotta explain it, but I tell people don't lose money playing video games. Don't lose value because if you lose value playing video games in physics, when I see you, it's like, oh, you trying to waste my time. Fuck you, man. I'm out. And that's how I'm gonna move. I'm not gonna say that to you, female or male. So you have people over there trying to manipulate the light of all little funny people trying to get to the future of science, trying to fuck up people's anatomy and all types of things when it came to alchemy and enlightenment. Now, I'm not stupid. I'm way smarter than that. Those are little cheap, stupid individuals that was just trying to overcome situations and trying to be lazy and fuck up people's reality because they didn't want people seeing them what they did to an individual at a time and the way they try to manipulate the physical because some of these people were like I told you the television show Angel. When they try to build their democratic, their demonizing, demoralizing high regard of the same thing when they did to the time of Sodom and Gomorrah in Babylon. where they wanted to build their CS towers, when they were trying to learn people's certain steps. It's like pre-crime. They were trying to cover up crimes of innocence because they were going to try to cause identity theft, and they were going to try to cause certain events to stop They wanted to stop individuals from being at a high level of regard, so they could be able to be star beings and then finish other individuals that they were mad at because the things that the way they were being how can I say this, obstructed in the physical, and demoralizing them, knowing that I'm their real parent, and their excuse was like, I'm the real parent, and they had no right doing that, but they were the ones that already made the first wrong choice, and some of them had to keep it in order with the people that was already. Anyway, I don't want to speak about certain things because a lot of things, certain ways you gotta look at certain things. When people do certain things and people know they do certain things, they gotta make sure they have handles on the situation and things wrong they did. And if I indulge and engage in the situation a certain type of way, they gotta make sure that I never discomfort or feel disorientation with the way they handle the situation. So it's like a form of reality, captivating somebody's reality to allure them, just to be able to rise them a certain type of way to repair what they did wrong, so it would be no bad intentions in the physical reality. And I only did that with people of purity that I admire naturally, not people that fucked up. The reason why I admire them. So when I ran into Siobhan Thorns, she was the fancy that was going to try to kill my wife of Colombia, and my wife of China, and my wife of other regions of Asia and Russia, and also in my family of Africa, that because she tried to kill Aphrodite also at the time. So she went around the board because you got to watch the Hercules television show, Hercules, which it was a time when my other son, he claimed to be me. It was my son, he used to hang out with the boys of Helen of Troy, and used to be like a young boy himself at the time. And then he claimed to be Hercules' dad in the show, and then his daughter, which was she wanted him to, she it was Liv manipulating because she was like the crystal shard. She was showing the the individual that was trying to claim the Zeus, that she was like the one that brought down the Superman planet, and he indulged sexually with her at the time, and he could get caught up in a situation too if anybody ever found out. They would demoralize him and look upon him because they would see what he was one that caused it and kept the individual, the real parent, down in existence, and then he wouldn't be looked upon as a high regard anymore. So she showed him that she jumped all over the place using a crystal shard, and so she could have been everywhere at one time. And then Hercules had to realize that because there was so much broken glass around her, and Hercules didn't realize what was going on when it came to the mythology, but he tried to disregard it because Hercules, the real Hercules, remember, in the television show Hercules, they were trying to get rid of my son, the real Hercules. So I had four sons that was like the four horsemen that was named Rise, Edge, Blade, and Shield, that were regarding me. These were individuals that you hide in magic and ninja element science, that was able to manipulate people, and they were giants. They were trying to always infiltrate the Titans. So I didn't want them to marry into the Titans because Hercules, the real Hercules, used to have problems with them back in the days because the way that they tried to disregard him. This is why you gotta watch the movie like The Covenant. So they tried to disregard him. So because they were trying to do identity theft when it came to the 10 astrological jewel empresses, because they were trying to get to the sacredcy of the 10 astrological jewel empresses. And then the 10 astrological jewel empresses had 42 sons, and my wives were very enlightened. But she had 42 sons that was very upfront about the situation, that handled the situation, and some of them at a time may got so caught up in the situation that they were the ones that would have easily been that knew how individuals are gonna cause identity theft, so they were the ones that always went in like a person of high regard has to be a certain type of way of charismatic, so the way they can correct the situation for you to realize the real reason of the glory and honor a certain type of way. So when they went in, I was moving from my sons that really knew the reasons of elegance and enlightenment, so I was moving with them. So when things happened, they will be positioned in a way because as I made a move, they will naturally be able to move a certain type of way without making any reality uncomfortable. And then the return of the Empress and the love of the reality of people's real acknowledgement, and then everything would be okay. But you had people that knew about these situations, and then they try to cause, these other chicks try to cause the identity theft when it came to my son. So people had to be very careful. Connect me to YouTube, please. See, and this is another chick, the one that tried to demoralize my other wife and stuff. So she's jumping on the YouTube, saving people's signals, is trying to show you. She make your funny faces. So you gotta be careful because she's trying to fuck up my wife Penny. And on top of it, she tried to fuck up my wife Helen, don't talk. She tried. It's like she's a chick that's like a sequencing Total Recall. At the time, it's like the Total the Recall, like the whole lineup, like a list. Because they were like the bones that the ones that went into the ones that see, these are people that's trying to break through people's ads and stuff. So these are not ads, but they're trying to break through on people's reality. See, here it go. These are people that's against me. See?
Like here, where nothing stands between you and your best friends.
These are people breaking into my phone every day on a daily basis, trying to fuck up the ads of my phone and shit. They're going on ads in my phone, and they're not even supposed to be in my phone. They're just actually people that just try to break through safety because they don't want people waking up. It's just like I was watching this movie earlier. It was like some chick that wanted to be an assassin, and she went and shot this guy in the pool. While the guy was sitting on the pool, he tried to shoot her, but the gun stopped clicking, and then she shot the guy in the legs. And as he fell, the pool opened up and swallowed, like he fell inside. And you know what she did? The nigga was smelling a flower before that. You know what she did after that? she smelled the flower. She looked at the nigga smell the flower. She threw the flower in the water and shit. And what was that? A lotus flower because she was trying to cause the forgetful water and shit. She was like, if Zeus ever come to this point of reality, it's gonna be some water for that's where he ain't gonna remember who he is. So the bitch was doing some more voodoo or a voodoo on the thing that was fucking up individuals' reality. So somebody probably thought it was some good water a certain type of way, and it was literally forgetful water to make a person forget who they were. Because at the time, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna chemically react at a certain time sequence because it's a chemistry. Nobody didn't realize that though. A person is wondering, I'm trying to show you something. These are the other, these are the other stupid, oh, hold on. These are the other stupid bitches that they were using. There's four bitches right there. Stupid bitches that the spirits of riding his blade and show his mother and stupid bitches. That was black bitches. Black stink bitches. There you go.
Carry me nation. Welcome to Booyahville. Do this. Hold on tight, it's gonna get pretty bumpy.
Heard the name?
and sick, we're gonna make that move right. Just put your body on mine. Hold on tight, it's gonna get pretty bumpy. Hold on tight, it's gonna get pretty bumpy. Hold on tight, it's gonna get pretty bumpy. Michael, chill. Yeah, you know this track is about to get. Yeah, that's how we pay off. Hold on tight, it's gonna get pretty bumpy. We go. Hold on tight, it's gonna get pretty bumpy.
But like I said, wonderful.
Le pays nous appartient. Voilà le problème de ce pays. C'est le problème l'argent. Comme l'arrête de la boucaille jazz là. Où est Deadman? Où est Acula? Et NW. Pathfinder. Listen Patrol. Isuzu Coupé. Où est Gandé? Limo de Thierry. C'est la salle de plus sauvage. Regardez. Si nous croisons avec eux, la commune.
But I just be real. I I don't gotta tell you everything, a certain type of way. But I'm gonna just tell you this. You know, I'm real nice. I'm the real East. If you're looking at, I'm real East, and also I'm the man. Whichever way you want to look at it. You know, me, I don't give a fuck what another person says. You know, but I'm gonna be real. I'm always covered, whichever way you want to look at it. So, I'm gonna just tell individuals like this: be careful of other people manipulating you to break through your consecration. That wants to move. It's like my wife having a boyfriend that wants to move on my land or into my house. What the fuck would be going wrong in her life? Good for you. Make sure I get my pussy. And me, Rafael JR, obviously my own pussy. And keep your boyfriend away from trying to find out what other type of panties you like before he fucks you up, and you can never get you can never make something wonderful even ever again in your life if you were trying to survive, because it's like telling your boyfriend where I live, and then he moves in and tries to kill your habitation down to your chemistry, and what would save your life at the time if the nigga knows how, how to how to tickle and rip your coochie from the inside. So be very careful, because I don't want to have to already manhandle your boyfriend just because your boyfriend just wants time alone with you to make sure that you're gone. So he gonna fuck up your life for real. I don't deal with your biohazard type of mentality. I deal with, how can I say this? Binary intellect individuals that acknowledges the reason of receptiveness of one's habitation of the wonderful, the wealth, and enriching of life. I don't deal with individuals that want to cause an individual to write an autobiography of their of a documentary of their existence before losing the reality of receptiveness, because the wonderful, alluring reality of multiple forms of enriching intellectual jewels of consciousness of one's visual aspect of love and happiness of life, because it always remains enriching, real, re, ra, re, row, and all more and all rap, morality, in order to love one. And I'm always myself, me, mainly the real garden of all existence, the one that cleanses one habitation, love one. Pay attention to one's physical reality, even at a time before one's destructive. Love one. And when I care, I love myself. So you'll never be able to blow my mind. I always care. And sac pacaton, entrez pour nous débarquer.